This week's all-new episode of The Flash was called The Reverse Flash Returns, so it should come as no surprise to anyone that the episode dealt with, well, the Reverse Flash returning. But that wasn't just any version of the Reverse Flash in this episode. This was Eobard Thawne from earlier on in the timeline, before he even knew who Barry was. Oh yes, and before he stole Dr. Harrison Wells' face, even though in a rather annoying turn, Catelyn still refers to that person as Wells, even though we all know it wasn't really him. If this all sounds a little confusing, no worries, because Harry goes out of his way to draw us a nice little picture explaining how it's possible for someone to cross their own timeline. Honestly, as a comic reader, Reverse Flash pulled this sort of crap all the time, so I was more than willing to roll with it here. Once again, Reverse Flash is stranded in our time and wants to return to the future, but as this guy still has his speed, all it's going to take for him is a big science machine and some help from the Mercury Labs lady. The funny thing is that despite the title, this whole story only really becomes important near the tail end of the show. Why? Because, well, apparently we still need to deal with the Patty-Barry breakup. Now, I've gone on record before saying I've never really liked Patty, and well, I will take back calling her Flashicity, because if nothing else, she did kinda discover the truth, so that should earn her some points. I'm also really not going to mourn losing her either. I thought that, her parting was handled pretty well last week, but no, we still need to have our hero lament over the loss of love, and Wade telling the person that he cares about the truth versus endangering their safety. And I'm sorry, call me genre savvy, but I rolled my eyes during 90% of this stuff, considering that at the end of the day, we all know Barry and Iris are destined to be together, right? The far more interesting character development stuff, however, came with Cisco, who hoped to harness his vibe powers to get the drop on Zoom, and eventually Reverse Flash, so that was helpful. To this end, he was provided a pair of killer shades, not unlike the ones worn by Vibe in the comics. Honestly, I continue to really enjoy what they've done with Vibe on TV, expanding what his powers can do and what they mean. We also get a chance to spend some more time with Francine, Iris's mom, on her deathbed. It's a very sad, very serious scene that does a great job breaking up more of the superhero action. Hats off to the music department as well. This is a real heartstring tugger is what this one is. This episode also brought with it another Flash Reverse Flash showdown, which is, a real highlight considering how much our hero has grown since season 1 and how now he can actually lay the smackdown on Thawne, where before he really couldn't. And speaking of Thawne, this really is like meeting him for the first time, considering that this is the most screen time this actor has gotten as Eobard Thawne. With Thawne taken prisoner, everyone gets a piece of him. By far, my favorite was Cisco, who, if you will remember back in season 1, had forged a kind of father-son figure relationship with him, and now he gets to tell him off, where before he never really got a chance to. And you can bet as a comic fan, I really appreciated that they kept Thawne's backstory pretty much unchanged as a Flash superfan who went to the dark side. In the end, however, to save Cisco's life and the timeline for that matter, Barry must put his anger aside and help his worst enemy return to the future, in a very cool scene that once again made use of the whole of Star Labs. Now, the final stinger for the Reverse Flash Returns also deserves a great bit of unpacking. You see, we find out that dying Jay Garrick's Earth 1 counterpart is actually a man named Hunter Zolomon, as in the name given to Zoom from the comic books. This guy's name is Zolomon and not Garrick because he was adopted, kind of like another evil speedster from the comics, Cobalt Blue. Fun fact too, in the comics, Hunter Zolomon was a cop, and his relationship with the Flash was very much like Eddie Thawne's relationship with Barry. Now, perhaps this is just one gigantic red herring thrown in by the writers to throw guys like me off, or perhaps it'll be much more important down the line. I guess we will see, won't we? The Reverse Flash Returns, despite being an unbalanced episode, in my mind was still overall pretty enjoyable. I didn't exactly groove on all the Patty stuff, but now that that story is officially done, we can move forward to bigger and better things. As always, I enjoy seeing Cisco develop as a character and develop his powers, and while he didn't really do much, Reverse Flash did end up stealing the show by the end. Of course, in my heart of hearts, I can't help but feel that Tom Cavanaugh gave the much more iconic and terrifying performance as the Reverse Flash. At the end of the day, though, I would give this episode a 7 out of 10. Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching my newest video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you'll feel like checking out some more videos I have on offer here at Cape Joel.